Our 96 SS Impala. We are just got the dash back together and we're ready to put the carpet in. Dash is all complete finally. Just got a heater core in it. Got the wiring routed, kind of mounted down the best of what I can with the size. The diameter of this wire is pretty big, so with padding hopefully being in the corner, it will kind of conceal everything, and then we'll get the center console, all the pillar pieces, kick panels, and everything else back in just a minute here, and we'll have some action for you. Alright, back to it. We've got our carpet here, brand new from Auto Custom Carpets Incorporated, made in America. And before we get started, also another thing you're going to want to pay attention to, maybe stuff like these seatbelt holes where the bolts mount. Make sure you got everything, seatbelts and stuff, out of the way. And also your wiring for seats, for instance. Anything that might be in the way of screws or getting pinched. Anything like that. I've already got this blown out with some air. All the dust and crap up off of here. I've been kind of working on the outside at the same time, one thing at a time. Let's go ahead and roll this thing out. Okay, I've laid this in here and try to fold it out. Honestly, looks like we're gonna have to cut some of our own holes, for instance the shifter center piece. I'm guessing that that would be the back by the few bolt holes that are back there, possibly for, actually that might just be a piece of black carpet. I apologize. But yep, padding. So you got your padding on this side, and then it goes to thin up there. So I'm guessing that this would be the back of it. The spot where it's real thin on the padding, it kind of looks like the shape of it would match to the front half of the car. So we're gonna go ahead and try to line this up before I go cutting any holes for the shifter. Not something I would like to buy again. Okay. And we're still going on it. By the looks of it, I had it a little bit off. We're going to have to scoot the whole thing forward, probably a good foot. But another thing I've noticed too is all the little wiring and mounts that I just pointed out with my finger a second ago. We're going to have to cut those out with a new razor blade. Normally works best on something like this. Try not to oversize it as well, but leave yourself enough slack where you can get to it. The shifter is actually going to be covered by a console, so we got a little bit of room to play with on this. Let's go ahead and slide this thing forward, and I'll go ahead and start video in a second when I get a few more things in spot. We're going to start with the shifter first, but we got everything that's going to be shown and basically show up at finished product. We want to get this front lapped under this piece right here, all the way across, all the way to the other side, and then we'll slowly work our way back. By doing that, we got a good start. Everything will be concealed up here. No flooring showed, or dynamat in this case. And then this will be covered by the back seat, so pretty optional where it can end up and land. And we're going to go ahead and start real small, kind of slowly work from the center out, more towards the front. This thing's actually going to have a nice big cutout that'll be from somewhere right about here, the center, all the way to about back here. But we want to start small in the middle to avoid making a big mistake and buying a new carpet. And piece at a time, after we get this all cut out, square, big square cut out, but obviously under the center console. Then the wiring for the seats is here, and also about the same spot on that side. After that, I know off the top of my head, we've got a seatbelt mount here, and on the back side of it as well, same spots. And then we'll work our way to the back seat belts. piece by piece. Take your time. Make sure everything forms and fits in the way it should. Now that we've got the shifter popped through, giving us a lot more slack, just kind of work your way around. Kind of tuck it, form it in. We've got a good good go up here. We can slide it forward maybe another inch or two and make it just right. Probably gonna have to come back through and cut some of these edges and form them in, obviously under the trim pieces for the kick panels. Get that rubber folded over on the front of it up there, and we'll just keep working our way back. Good way to go about this as well is kind of everything is centered pretty much where it needs to be in spot. So I went ahead and trimmed a small little piece. Like I said, it's fairly adjustable. Sorry, these normally aren't here. These are the RCAs for the stereo. Didn't want to lose them or cut them, so I put them right here. But anyway, got a small patch cut out, and I'm slowly just kind of pushing it, folding along the edges, forming it in where it needs to be, piece by piece. Take your time, like I said, and it won't go too bad. There's a little bit better picture of the whole scene here. Slowly working the way back, but kind of focus on the front. And these aftermarket parts, carpets, etc., never really fit perfect. You just kind of make them work with what you have. Alright, well, I think we're going to make a part 2 to this video. I got to get this stretched out, everything laid in a little bit, looking a little clumped up. Get some of the corners to relieve some of the stress. Got to hold this thing in place. It's molded in some places though. Like you'll notice these center points right here. There's actually a mount for the center console under these two. And then what gave me the idea that the carpet is in the front is it had a round cutout in the front, right in the center. And also just the way the pad was formed on the back, which need to realign, obviously. But we'll call it a night. I'll make a part 2, and see you guys then.